The rescue of the SS Pendleton Stern in 1952 is widely recognized as the most daring rescue in Coast Guard history. In 2016, the heroic actions of Bernie Webber and his crew were presented cinematically in The Finest Hours, directed by Craig Gillespie. The movie has mixed reviews, but I think it's a solid experience that delivers the story meaningfully. In this review, we'll look at the key components of the historical events and how the movie chose to portray them. Before I get into the story's main themes and how they differ from the actual rescue, let's talk about what I think of the film in and of itself. Just looking at what the movie has to offer, it's a strong film. The character struggles are compelling enough, and the atmosphere is extremely dramatic. The movie starts in 1951 with the main character, Bernie Webber, played by Chris Pine, a member of the United States Coast Guard, with his friend going to meet his date Miriam, played by Holiday Granger. A few months later, he and Miriam become engaged. Neither of them knows for sure if Miriam is, quote, cut out to be the wife of a Coast Guard man. A vicious nor'easter begins to make its way across the coast of New England, and Bernie is sent out on a dangerous rescue mission after two T2 oil tankers split in half. Simultaneously, the survivors aboard the stern of the Pendleton struggle to stay alive until help can come. The atmospheric setting in the film is exact. The filmmakers skillfully portrayed the different scenarios in a way that made them seem different from each other and different from how they would appear today. The 50s music and lighting instantly let the viewer know that it isn't the present day, and the intense sequences on the ocean tell the viewer just how terrifying the stormy conditions were for the men on the tiny lifeboat. Part of the reason the atmosphere is so gripping is that in the mixing, the crew omitted the use of any non-diegetic sound to make it more like it is an actual event transpiring, instead of a story that they are recounting to you. The pacing can feel a little slow for an action movie. I believe this is because the director wanted to show how long it seems to take to make progress in a perilous rescue. The thing dragged on for hours. It's a simple narrative made impressive by how incredible the real-life rescue was. Some of the character drama is a little bland, and I would discredit it if it were the story's core. But as it is, I think it just adds a nice flavor to the dramatic rescue story. Bernie's internal conflict about his duty and actions is quite compelling. On the other hand, the tensions with the side characters, such as that one guy's resentment and the commanding officer's dismissive attitude, just feel unnecessary. The arc of Miriam's character is something I do like in this film, and that point leads me to talk about the focus of the movie as a whole and how the director chose to characterize the story. How the director changed the focus of the film can be described as that he chose to make the characters have deliberate internal struggles so that we can relate to them more as they face dangerous situations. I believe this is the primary reason that they chose to make the main characters engaged instead of married during the rescue. In reality, Miriam Penttinen was sick in bed with the flu during the entire saga, and the two of them had already been married for 3 years. Having her as a present character during the film increased the drama, and I don't blame the filmmakers for doing so. It would be much harder to show Bernie thinking of his wife in bed as he faced incredible peril than it was for them to just show Bernie hoping he could make it back to his fiancée alive at the same time as she was reciprocating that sentiment. The fact that Miriam wasn't yet married to him was also used as a source of drama in this movie, because nobody knows if she can cope with the frequent dangers of Bernie's job or not. We frequently see her concerned for his safety, causing people to question her ability to be married to Bernie at all, thus causing her to ponder this question. Overall, Miriam's character is one of the more compelling aspects of this film, in my opinion, and contributes a lot to the serious narrative. This whole idea of focusing on specific characters and their internal conflicts is further shown by the lack of characters that don't matter as much. In the book, The Finest Hours, the true story of a heroic sea rescue, written by Michael J. Tugias and Casey Sherman, random characters that were never heard from again fulfilled various minor plot points. For example, when the Pendleton Stern was spotted off the coast, in the movie it was spotted by the man who resented Bernie for failing a past rescue. But in the book, a pilot flying a reconnaissance plane spotted it. This focuses the narrative on the main characters and related events specifically. So anything extra they just cut out because it would just distract from the central characters and what they were doing. The other aspect of drama that the movie changed was the struggles of the men aboard the Pendleton. The film shows extremely high tensions and some heated arguments between the crew members. The historical novel describes them in a much more survivalist situation. Raymond Siebert became the de facto commander aboard the stern, and nobody really disputed it. The book does describe a debate about launching the lifeboats, but it was resolved logically, and nobody had to chop the lifeboats off the boat to save foolhardy men. The movie tries very hard to make the situation much more dramatic than simply a life or death situation, and this part of the film proves it especially. The following small part of the movie could be considered spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film, I'd recommend skipping to the conclusion. Okay? Good. You've been warned. Okay, so the filmmaker's decision to make the headlights of the townspeople's cars be what leads the men home is something I'm not sure about. It's kind of strange. On the one hand, it's kind of a nice touch in the story that drives home the point of it being the support of the community, and the knowledge that his fiancée is waiting for him at home gave him the strength to make his way back. On the other hand, it's not really what happened, and they just made it up for the sake of the visual narrative. I guess it works just fine, and I don't find it too bothering. It's one of those things that would bug some people and not bug other people. Overall, The Finest Hours is a good film with a lot of drama. It does a good job of making the stormy sea a scary place to be and presents the heroic courage of a few real life men on the screen in an engaging way. Solid movie, would watch again.